Joe Nemechek, the leader. Robbie Gordon skating around the track has gone a lap down. Dale Jr.'s moved to second. Pole sitter Terry Labonte third. Jeff Gordon fourth. Ryan Newman, Bobby Labonte, rookie Casey Mears. We've got a new toy. Raytheon developed this. It's a thermal cam, and it shows you the heat signature of the racetrack. You see the leader coming around, the people up here in the grandstand. This is the unused part of the racetrack in blue. Green is warmer, and that white or orangish, whitish area around here, that is the groove.
And that'll widen out. Right now it's pretty narrow right now, but that's going to widen out as the night goes on. As you can see, I mean, it's right in here. I'm right on top of it, right in there. As we go along tonight, that'll probably get on up into where the green area is and get much quieter, because the cars will start to slide around a little bit more, move around a little bit more.
Robbie Gordon's on pit road to no surprise once he went a lap down. Steve?
Mike, we just heard on the radio they're going to make a big track bar adjustment and put a spring rubber in the right rear.
What that tells me, they're putting a spring rubber in that right rear, Darrell. That must mean that car is pushing and tight. But, you know, as far off as he was, it makes you wonder something's broke on this race car.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't show tight. He was turning that thing sideways. I think what they're trying to do is prop the right rear up.
A little earlier, while Robbie was fighting in traffic, look at those hands.
That's definitely loose.
I mean, that's spun out loose right there.
Steve?
Yeah, Mike, I just want to correct. I said spring rubber in the right. They actually put it in the left rear. Left rear.
There you go, Steve Burns. There you go, buddy. Now that shows us they're definitely, and the hands told the tale that they're trying to tighten that race car up.
Well, you put a lot of spring split in the thing so they'll turn. You want them to turn, but I think they overdid it.
Third place, Ryan Newman under Jeff Gordon for the third time. There you saw him go by. He's trying to make it work down into one. Makes the pass.
Now, y'all can have the heat things on the track. I think that's really cool. But my favorite shot is the one we got with Kevin Harvick. There you go. Look at this. Watch his eyes. Watch up in here. There's his eyes. He looks back, watch his hands, you can see his legs down here moving. I mean, this is a busy cat right now. He's back in 26th spot. But he's got a car. See him fight that thing off the corner there? So watch his hands, watch the car as he goes down in the corner. This is when, even if you don't know someone's there, you feel them. You got to know that person's there. You don't have to look over necessarily, but you got to know they're there.
Boy, his eyes, they constantly go look in that mirror. Even though you have that spotter, I remember a shot we had of Jeff Gordon back at Daytona, a shot similar to this, constantly checking that mirror.
Yeah, the reason for that, Larry, is if he happens to slip or if he had to get out of the throttle, he wants to be sure nobody's so close that they're going to run into him from the back and spin him out. Because that happens a lot here.
Kurt Busch has passed Jeff Gordon, taken Gordon out of the top 5. Busch's history is that when he has a commemorative paint job or something new on that car, victory lane.
He could run that baby in primer.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he'd do okay.
Our leader, Joe Nemechek, is being caught by Dale Earnhardt Jr. The lead is knocked down to less than half a second.
Yeah, he's about a half to a full tenth of a second a lap quicker right now than Joe Nemechek.
Boy, as Dale Jr., as he turned the corner, that whole team, him as a driver, that whole team. I mean, last year they had good days, bad days, good days, bad days. But this year, man, they're right on every week.
There you see the brake right there. Off the brake pedal, he'll start to pick the throttle up all the way up on that straightaway before it's 100%.
And the thing about that brake light, Mike, Larry, we used to have one on I put one on the dash of my car. I mean, a driver needs a brake light on it so he knows he's got his foot resting on the brake pedal.
Matt Kenseth, our point leader, has been caught by Tony Stewart. That's for 11th, Jimmy Johnson 10th.
Now, I'm not saying that Dale Jr. can see that telemetry we have there, but we used to do that on some of the short tracks so you wouldn't use too much brake.
Of course, you see Matt Kenseth right there in the 17, Tony Stewart in the 20. That's the 2 winners from here last year.
Now Stewart started 9th but drifted back a bit. Now his car's coming back into play.
Where's my commentary buddy?
Rusty?
Rusty.
18th.
Come on, buddy. I picked you tonight. You told me you weren't going to let me down.
I mean, you see these guys running off into turn 1. Mike, you mentioned it's like a funnel. And remember, from our telemetry yesterday, this is right at 150, close to 150 miles per hour off into that corner, and they're doing it side by side.
And they're doing it double wide and sometimes 3 wide all the way around this track.
Lap after lap after lap.
And just like we saw last night, Mike, Larry, we'll run here for a while as long as we can stay under green and don't have any cautions. But as soon as we start to have cautions, you get cars lapped down, that's when we have trouble.
And that's fixing them. Boy, here's a gaggle of cars right there. Casey Mears leading in the 41. Well, he's up in 9th position.
Yeah, he made a good move up to 6th, Larry, in the early laps, and now he's starting to drift back just a bit into the clutches of Stewart and the 48, Jimmy Johnson.
Tell you what, talk about our leader, though, gaggle of cars. He's fixing to catch a lot of cars to try to put them a lap down, and that's when the plot changes, is when you catch all those cars trying to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, and here we are, 35 laps, already going laps down.
Terry Labonte's led one. Joe Nemechek has led the rest of the way so far in Richmond. Welcome back to Richmond, where this sign says it all. Jerry Nadeau, an army of one, prayers from millions, and that includes all of us.
Like I say, Mike, I think that pretty much makes the whole statement right there.
We are 42 laps into this race, and Joe Nemechek is rushing through this field.
He's fixing to put some pretty heavy hitters on that down.
Steve Park. And spinning to miss him, Jamie McMurray.
I think McMurray's okay. I think he just spun to miss him and didn't hit anything. He's going to get going again.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, that was a big break for some heavy-hitting cars. In fact, Jason Keller in Jerry Nadeau's car, he's going to get his lap back. But that was a big break for Dave Blaney, Dale Jarrett, Elliott Sadler, Brett Bodine. Larry Foyt gets his lap back. So a lot of cars that Joe Nemechek had put a lap down, they get their laps back.
And Steve Park, pole winner last week, crashed in turn 2 on the first lap of the race, becomes the first casualty of the Pontiac Excitement 400.
There he is back there all by himself. Just got it in there. He got it into turn 1 a little too hot.
Car just came around with him.
We saw that a number of times last night. Same kind of a look.
Watch the left side of your screen, bottom of your screen right there.
Just appears if you overdrive that turn, if you pour it down there a little too hard and get the right side tires up a little bit, that's the result.
Now I would say 45 laps on the board. All the leaders will come to pit road, and they pretty much, the only car stayed out on the racetrack is the pace car. This will be 4 tires and those first adjustments. Everybody's back on the lead lap, of course, except for Steve Park and Robbie Gordon now, but he's 2 laps down. Everybody comes to pit road. Steve Burns.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to go down half a round on the track bar. Joe Nemechek, the chassis adjustment into the right rear. 1.5 turns down on the track bar for the 25. 4 tires for both cars to Matt.
And Terry Labonte already in, already coming around to the left side. Crew Chief Jim Long called for an air pressure adjustment in the right rear. Terry was just a little loose. They're going to try to tighten the car up, and he's going to win. It's going to be close. That battle off pit road, Mike Joy, who won?
We're going to have to look at the camera, man. It's that close.
But I'm going to tell you what, that Budweiser crew, Dale Earnhardt Jr., I know they had the problems at Fontana last week. They had a well of a stop that time. But you're right, Mike. It's going to be close on Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's look at it right here. This is the line right here. I give the nod to the cheese car, Terry Labonte, the 5 car.
Junior second, and Nemechek third off pit road. Then Ryan Newman, Jeff Burton, who has been moving steadily up through this field from 14th.
When you sit on the pole, you run good, your crew performs. Look at them, and they like it.
Terry Labonte cuts the cheese on pit stops.